What's up, guys? I got another movie review for you. I don't have a disc to show you. I saw this one at the theater. It's the remake version of Flatliners. I actually only saw this because the advertisements on MoviePass were for the old Flatliners, and I thought, hey, that'd be kind of cool, to see that in the theater. And it was, lo and behold, it was the new one. So I figured I'm here. I'm using MoviePass, so I'll just check it out. It stars Ellen Page as a young medical student who seems to have a pretty bright future ahead of her. She seems really smart, got her head on straight. Good things are ahead for her. But she's plagued by this horrible event from her past in which she was texting while driving, and she got into a really bad car accident, killed her sister. I don't mean to make light of that. But anyway, she kills her sister. She survives, obviously. She goes on to medical school. And she's always been kind of obsessed with talking to the people in the hospital who have like a near-death experience. She goes and talks to some of her friends there, and she's like, hey, my young hip friends that I'm like 15 years older than, do you guys want to help me out by killing me? And they're like, oh, I don't know. And she's like, come on. And they're like, okay, we'll kill you. So they kill her, they bring her back, and they map her brain while she's dead. And, she turns out to be completely changed by the experience. All of her memory function is like hugely amplified. She can remember everything that she's ever learned. Her like performance at the hospital is just astronomically better. So of course they're all like, hey, we want to die too. And everybody's like, I don't know if we should do that. And they're like, come on. And they're like, okay. So they kill each other and they bring each other back. Some of them have great experiences. Some of them have not so great experiences. But they party, they knock a wall down in an apartment, they make out with each other, they have a furious cowgirl session, and then, bad stuff starts to happen, and it's like, hey, maybe dying and coming back wasn't such a great idea after all. This movie is not bad by any means. It's definitely more of a thriller than a horror movie, but it has enough kind of spooky atmosphere, I think, to where most people would say it was a horror movie. It's like I said, it's not bad. The dialogue is okay. It doesn't really have any wackiness or big time scares. It's mostly just kind of mood and tension and a little bit of a dread, but not much. Now, what really makes this work, in my opinion, is Ellen Page. She's light years beyond everybody else in this movie. She brings like a certain kind of gravity and depth to her character, even though the character is kind of, poorly written and poorly handled. Well, I guess not poorly, but you know what I mean. Like, nothing special about the character if it would have been played by pretty much anybody. But, Ellen Page brings something special to the role, and that kind of elevates the movie, at least in my opinion. That's what really held my interest in it. What I don't like about the movie is just that it's kind of boring most of the time. It runs almost 2 hours. This would have been a pretty snappy, like, 88-minute movie. But it just feels really bloated as it is. Another thing I didn't like about it is that it's pretty much like a 2-hour cautionary tale about texting while driving, and there's also a really curious like pro-choice angle to one of the late things in the story that just seems really forced. Like the writer was like, I'll sneak this past. Anyway, it's definitely not a bad movie. It's pretty watchable. The only downside is that it's just so long. And it's so drawn out at times that it's really not something you could watch, on a regular basis. I think even if you really liked it, just because it moves so slowly. I thought it was a, run-of-the-mill, middle-of-the-road, horror thriller, definitely aimed at, like, teens. So maybe I'm not the prime demographic. No blood, no nudity. There is one, like, cowgirl scene, but it's another one of those cases where girls, for some reason, are holding their boobs all the time or are wearing a bra during sex. The most of the performances are kind of blah, but Ellen Page is really good in it. Again, it's fine if you get a chance to see it, and you're interested in the concept, or you just want to see how it stacks up to the old one, check it out. Just kind of keep your expectations in check. So I was actually pleasantly surprised by it because I thought it was going to be pretty terrible. So, hey, if you get to the theater with your movie pass and it's not the movie you expected, just stick it out. Who knows? That's the remake of Flatliners. Hope you guys like this video. If you do, check out my website, markfusion.com. I've got hundreds of other movie reviews there. Cold horror, everything you can think of. Video games, anime, TV shows. I'm also on Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram at markfusion. You can follow me there and see what I've got coming up next. I really appreciate it. And if you like these videos, please do drop a sub. It would definitely help me out. and it would maybe keep me from asking people to kill me so that I could go into the afterlife and find out how to get more people to sub to my YouTube channel. Thanks so much, guys. I really appreciate it.